Broadcast Center in Los Angeles. This is KCAL9 News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Lena Wynn.
And I'm Juan Fernandez. We begin KCAL9 News at 4 with breaking news. As another storm bears down on us, there are now new mandatory evacuation orders in Santa Barbara County.
The sheriff's office just issued the orders for people living in extreme risk areas near the Thomas, Sherpa, and Whittier burn areas. People are being told to be out of the area by 8 o'clock tonight. And people living in the areas in yellow are under a recommended evacuation warning. The Red Cross has set up an evacuation at the Earl Warren Showgrounds. The National Weather Service says debris flows could be triggered as early as sunrise tomorrow.
To see what we can expect tomorrow, let's go to meteorologist Amber Lee, who's tracking the current conditions. Amber?
All right, Juan and Lena, you can see that we have a lot of cloud cover just sitting over Southern California right now, and the radar is actually picking some moisture off the coast. Now, I just want to get to those flash flood watches that have been issued for the Central Coast. That includes Santa Barbara County and also portions of Ventura County. You can see, including recently burned areas, as you mentioned, the Thomas Fire, the Whittier, the Sherpa, and the Alamo Fire. This is going to last with us until about tomorrow afternoon, and the reason for this is because this next system, storm number 1 of 3, will have enough energy and also unstable air that we could see some isolated thunderstorms being triggered. So with those isolated thunderstorms, there is potential that we could see a lot of rain in a short amount of time. Now, I just want to point out, you could see that the radar is picking up some showers right off the coast. Now, by the time it makes its way over to us, we could see some light sprinkles, maybe some light rain as early as midnight tonight. But most of the rain should be moving into the Central Coast first before it starts to spread over to the rest of the Southland. So this is something we're going to continue to track, and it's all because of this one big low pressure system that's bringing in all of these energy waves for the next few days here in Southern California. So you can see right there, it is right off the coast of Northern California, and it's meshing with this subtropical moisture, so it's bringing in some moisture. So this is the first system of 3. I'll have more on system number 2 and number 3 coming up. Back to you.
A lot changing real fast, Amber. Thanks. A man dies after spending more than a week in a coma following his arrest by Anaheim police. Well, today his family is questioning the use of force by officers.
KCAL9 Orange County reporter Michelle Geely live in Santa Ana. And Michelle, officers say their actions were not excessive.
That's right. Anaheim police are saying they used control holds on Christopher Eisinger's arms and legs and physical force that was not excessive. That is the officer's version. But the family has a lot of questions, starting with, why did this man stop breathing?
When I walked into the hospital room, my stomach just sank. I couldn't even fathom what had happened.
Katrina Eisinger's son, Chris, was taken off of life support over the weekend. The 35-year-old transient was critically injured, according to his family, as Anaheim police struggled to take him into custody. Officers say they were called by a woman reporting an attempted break-in at her home.
Well, when I first went in Chris's room, it looked like he had been beaten beyond recognition. If I had been told that that was another person, I would have believed it, because it didn't look at all like Chris to me.
Last week, acting Anaheim Police Chief Julian Harvey told reporters that his officers used great restraint as they detained Eisinger and did not use weapons, a taser, a chokehold, or strike him. The suspect, who has a criminal history of drug charges, assault on a peace officer, and resisting arrest, kicked and reached for an officer's holster during the incident, according to authorities. It was recorded on several body cameras, but the police video has not been released.
So at the end of the day, there may not be a smoking gun video, but what we have is upwards of 4 to 5 minutes of extreme force on this 35-year-old's face. That his eye socket actually popped out.
Lawyers for the family say Chris Eisinger had stopped breathing. Annie Delladonna asked why the officers didn't give CPR after holding Eisinger's head on the cement for 4 to 5 minutes.
In that position, head turned, face down, severe force applied against the side of his face, Chris's airway was compromised and blocked.
Police suspected that Eisinger was under the influence. Now, the autopsy on Chris Eisinger will be done tomorrow. The family says after the county does its examination, it plans on doing its own independent autopsy. Live in Santa Ana, back to you.
All right, Michelle, thanks. There are also questions over use of force in another Orange County case, a burglary investigation that ended with the death of a suspect. We'll have that story coming up for you at 4:30. President Trump is coming to California. He'll be here tomorrow for a fundraiser and to check out the prototypes for the border wall. KCAL9's Greg Mills is live in Beverly Hills, where supporters and protesters plan to be out in full force. Greg?
And while they are here, the protest hasn't started yet, or they actually call it a rally. As for the president, his first stop in California will be in San Diego. Then he comes up here about this time tomorrow afternoon. The president is coming tomorrow, but many of the details of the visit are still under wraps. The Secret Service has kept the president's plans secret. So far, the LAPD tells us, even from them. But they say they are prepared for anything. Any mobilization necessary, they are ready. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department's Emergency Operations Bureau is often activated for big events, but not this time. Secret Service keeping it secret there, too. We do know the president will attend a fundraiser tomorrow night, and we saw no stopping signs for tomorrow from 11 a.m. to midnight. These are up along Mulholland Drive from the 405 freeway to the entrance to Beverly Park neighborhood. We also know Air Force One is scheduled to arrive at LAX around the start of the afternoon rush hour.
I need advance notice.
Not this time. She lives on the west side, ground zero for presidential traffic tie-ups throughout the years. One West Sider used one word to describe West Side traffic during President Obama's visits.
Awful. We really were very inconvenient, and he came an awful lot.
There's nothing you could do to prepare for it. You know, you just had to wing it.
This woman said she's fine with his visit because it's for an important reason.
We are going to have a wall.
Governor Brown took a shot at that in his open letter to President Trump. He shared it on Twitter today, pointing out California has a robust economy vital to the U.S. But the governor writes, our prosperity is not built on isolation. Quite the opposite. California thrives because we welcome immigrants and innovators from across the globe. The governor also invited the president to check out his pet project, the high-speed rail line being built in the Central Valley. And what you're seeing live right now is a rally. It's an immigration rally. Tomorrow, no doubt about it, it is a flat-out protest against President Trump. Starts same time right here in Beverly Hills. Lean and Juan, back to you two.
Greg, thank you. Meanwhile, protesters aren't waiting for the president's arrival in San Diego. There was at least one demonstration today.
We don't need your racist wall. We reject your hate.
Several community groups rallied in the city's Chicano Park. They say they're united against what they call the wasteful, harmful, and irresponsible plan to build the border wall. Another group is scheduled to protest the president's policies outside the federal building in San Diego at 5 o'clock.
People in Austin, Texas are being told beware of any suspicious packages left on their doorstep. 2 package bombs exploded today, killing a teenager and injuring 2 women, and police say today's blasts are linked to one last week. Lou Young has more.
Austin police, along with FBI and ATF agents, rushed from the scene of a deadly package bombing Monday to a second explosion in a neighborhood 5 miles away. A 75-year-old woman was seriously injured when she picked up a package in front of her house.
This is the third in what we believe to be related incidents that have occurred over the past 10 days.
The morning blast killed a 17-year-old boy and injured another woman.
It was just a loud boom.
Neighbors heard the first explosion at 6:44 a.m. Police say someone in the house brought a package in from the front doorstep. When it was opened in the kitchen, it killed the teenager and injured the woman.
Next thing I knew was the police were knocking at the door saying that there was a suspicious package. One had exploded and that I needed to leave the house. They were evacuating the entire neighborhood.
Austin police are linking Monday's incidents to a package explosion March 2nd that killed a 39-year-old man.
It's not time to panic, but it's time to be vigilant and it's time to pay attention. It's time to pull together as a city and a community and solve this.
Investigators are scrutinizing everything the cases have in common.
We do not have a specific victimology or ideology that we have identified.
Police say the packages appear to have been left on the doorsteps and were not delivered through the mail or other shipping services. They're canvassing the neighborhoods for all security camera footage that could hold clues to who left the bombs. Lou Young, KCAL9 News.
The White House unveiled several gun and school safety proposals, but President Trump is noticeably backing off one of his own. The plan includes hardening security at the nation's schools, improving background checks of gun buyers, plus an expansion and overhaul of the mental health system. but the plan does not raise the minimum age to buy assault weapons. Instead, it would establish a federal commission to examine the issue. The mention of a commission did not sit well with critics.
On Saturday, President Trump said that federal commissions are not the way to address the drug crisis. But somehow, a new commission is apparently appropriate to address gun violence. We don't need another commission. We need a commitment to put the strongest gun safety rules on the books.
The president was very vocal at a bipartisan meeting last week, saying the age limit to purchase a rifle needs to be raised to 21. But after a meeting with the NRA, the president has changed his tune. This morning, taking to Twitter to say the age limits should be left to the states. Last week, Florida changed their laws to raise the age limit to 21, and the NRA immediately filed a lawsuit to block that legislation.
Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos is receiving plenty of negative feedback after an interview she gave last night on 60 Minutes. Here's a portion of what that interview conducted by CBS's Leslie Stahl.
Why take money away from that school that's not working to bring them up to a level where they are, that school is working?
Well, we should be funding and investing in students, not in school buildings, not in institutions, not in systems. And
okay, but what about the kids who are back at the school it's not working? What about those kids?
Well, in places where there is a lot of choice that's been introduced, Florida, for example, the studies show that when there's a large number of students that opt to go to a different school or different schools, the traditional public schools actually, the results get better as well.
Now, has that happened in Michigan? We're in Michigan. This is your home state.
Michigan, yes. Well, there's lots of great options and choices for students here.
Have the public schools in Michigan gotten better?
I don't know. Overall, I can't say overall that they have all gotten better.
The whole state is not doing well.
Well, there are certainly lots of pockets where the students are doing well.
But your argument that if you take funds away, that the schools will get better is not working in Michigan, where you had a huge impact and influence over the direction of the school system here.
I hesitate to talk about all schools in general because schools are made up of individual students attending them.
The public schools here are doing worse than they did.
Michigan schools need to do better. There is no doubt about it.
Have you seen the really bad schools? Maybe try to figure out what they're doing?
I have not intentionally visited schools that are underperforming.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should, yes.
DeVos is responding on Twitter. She's posted a series of tweets claiming things 60 Minutes did not show. Here's one post. Also missing from 60 Minutes, students at charter schools in Detroit are doing 2 times better than their peers. The reforms are helping, but there's so much more to do. We must help all students be better prepared for strong futures.
It is now clear that Mr. Skripal and his daughter were poisoned with a military-grade nerve agent of a type developed by Russia.
New evidence surrounding the poisoning of a former Russian spy and his daughter points back to the Kremlin.
Then it's an online epidemic, drunk shopping. Coming up, we'll have stories of buyer's remorse.
And then the saying goes, you can't fit a square peg in a round hole. Perhaps nobody told that to this would-be thief. The must-see video next.